And welcome to the Allen Americans podcast. It is Throwback Thursday, and you'll definitely recognize that familiar face. Pop your head up a little bit there because you're dipping down too far in your hammock. We can't see that beautiful mug. Ladies and gentlemen, he was drafted by the Colorado Avalanche. Let me see how good my memory is. Back in 2000 NHL entry draft, is that right?
I think so.
It sounds right. And he's still under 40. Are you 38?
38.
Wow.
I am following you on Instagram. What are you talking about?
It's Darryl Bootland, ladies and gentlemen, by far one of the funniest, by far maybe the most popular player we've ever had in Al. Look at the beard there. And I like the do, by the way. Now, I wasn't expecting you to have the trimmed look. I figured you probably would have a long mop by now.
Oh, I do that myself, Tommy.
Do you really? Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Well, Tracy's 14 now. He helps out with the back a bit, but yeah, living the dream, pal.
That is unbelievable.
Retired life.
Well, look at the background there. He's got his championship photos right there, and I've got that one on my wall. There's, of course, the Allen image photo that was up a few years ago. I couldn't tell you who the arena football player is there, but I know that's Drew Pearson with you on the to your immediate left, correct?
I remember holding the guy at the football. I was holding him up because he was wearing his cleats on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
I asked Tommy Daniels to take care of the big zit on my forehead and take that out, but he never took care of that either. So thanks for that, Tommy.
Well, hey, let's just say that's payback for my one and only cast I've worn in my lifetime.
I can't believe you're bringing it up. I didn't even have to bring it up.
We'll get to that later on. But this is Throwback Thursday. And as you know, on Throwback Thursday, we bring back one of the great popular players from out of our past. And I can't think of one that was more fun to be around and travel with than Darryl Bootland. Talk about coming to Allen. And I remember when you first showed up out in Allen the first day, you didn't have the beard and you had your son with you. And you walked in the arena and said, "Hey, I'm Darryl Bootland. You can call me Booter. Where do I find the locker room?" And the rest was history. You were just the entertainer. Fans loved you because they still talk about you, and you'll always go down as one of the fan favorites. But other than the championship, what did you love about playing in Allen?
Oh, for sure, the fans. Like it. Even going back this year with coaching the under Pee Wee team in Houston here, going back and taking the team up there. I still have parents talk about the fans and how nice they were just to meet my parents, you know what I mean, of the coach of the team I was coaching. So just to be back up there, and it's like you never left, right? So it's a pretty amazing group of people up there that we even brought the Colorado fans down, and they're all best friends with the Allen fans, and it's quite the you sit down and think about it now after whatever 2 or 2.5 years out of hockey, and it's pretty amazing the touch you can have with people, and how you can bring such a small hockey world together. The Colorado fans are friends with the Orlando fans, and Zimmerman and I were there for 1 year. You know what I mean? So it's the hockey world's pretty amazing thing. You get great friends like Tommy Daniels speaks that well of you even after you get him in his first cast.
Yeah, that's the story. We'll save that one for the end. But you were here for championships, and I don't know that was a big part of it. But I remember still Daniel Tatro when he came to Allen. He said, "Tommy, I came here for one reason, and that's to win a championship." And I think about you two and the fun that we used to have on the bus trips back from wherever, singing classic rock tunes from wherever.
Hey, Booter.
No, he's still the same, and he still holds Allen in very high regard, loves it, even though he's coaching now with Rapid City. Great fond memories, but for you, and you talked about it when you first came here. I had you on a couple of radio shows. You were drafted in the NHL. You played in the NHL. But then you also came down and played at the American Hockey League level and the ECHL. Just for fans, because you experienced all whatever you want to call it, every level of hockey. Talk about the difference, especially when you come to the ECHL and you're traveling on the bus after flying on the airplanes and staying in the nicest hotels and What's it like for the minor league hockey player after experiencing what they call the sweet life?
Well, the sushi's a little different. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much. Old Redbird one, when you're putting in your sushi order, you're not getting it from the Kroger or the Meyer. So, but no, I think the biggest difference is the fans, is how close they can get to you and how the relationships you develop. You can't get by in life as a minor pro hockey player. The only reason I'm in a hammock right now, retired, is because it's because I'm on unemployment kind of thing. So you're working your tail off still just because you played for the love of the game for so long. But I wouldn't change it for the world. The stories and the relationships I developed, and I tell my kids, I do hockey camps and coaching kids now, and I tell them all the time. It took me 10 years to win my first championship. The first year, that's why it's up there first, right
Yeah.
there, is because it was the biggest emotional day of my life. I still get tears talking about it right now. I remember Marty chirping me when I was getting my ring the first game of the next year, and I was crying on the ice. It was something you put your whole life into, was the championship, and that's what I brought when I said I was coming to Allen, as I want to win this team a championship. And that's the same type of thing when I went to Colorado. They didn't have one yet, and to bring a team their first one in years, but to bring yourself after 10 years of not having a championship and being so close, and game 7 in the final in Austria, and game 7 in the semifinals Austria, game 7 twice in the AHL. Like, I tell those stories all the time, like the what you have to put into it. There's a reason the Washington Capitals, partied so hard when they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. But they knew, it's something else. We knew once we got through Idaho that year with Colorado, we were winning it. We knew once we got through Quad City game 6, I knew we were winning it. It's such an amazing thing to go through for 2 months at a time with a team. Tetro calls me every other Saturday night. So tell Marty he better hire me as an assistant, or I'll be on another bench soon. So I'm working it, Tommy. I just thought you were calling me today for the interview, but it's all right. We'll do this first.
Well, one thing at a time, right? But let's go back to that very special year, because it was great for all of us. I remember that night so well, and it wasn't easy. People forget that we were down 2-0 in the third period until Jarrett Lucan got us going. Halfway through that third period, and then finally Hendo with the big goal there to tie it up late in the third, and then we know there.
Bad video. I tipped it.
Okay? So wait a minute. Let's change this right now. Hendo.
You didn't see my thing on Instagram the other day? Hendo. I saw it on there, and I was like, oh, I'll never forget this day. And I was like, hey, because me and Hendo always joke about it. He's like, well, I got the praise now. You can have the goal.
Absolutely.
I'm calling the CHL on the stats there. Tommy didn't get that in yet. I tipped that, but gave it to Hendo because I was a good guy and stole too many of his goals during the season.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because there's another guy who didn't get credit for a goal, but after the fact, when we went back and looked, and I won't mention the player that got credit for the goal, but Gary Steffes actually won a series for us with a goal that he didn't get credit for. And, hey, it happens. But, it's all about a team. It's a team, right?
He's too good of a guy not to bring it up years later. I tipped it. I'll admit, I'm not.
Well, and again, that game, when we went to overtime, because nobody knew it was going to happen. None of us had ever really been in that situation where next goal wins a championship. What were you guys thinking when you go to the locker room after all the momentum switched? Wichita thought they had that thing won until Lucan scored, and then they kind of opened things up a bit. Do you remember anything that was said in the locker room when you guys left the ice tied 2-2 after regulation, game 7?
I remember staring across the room at Todd Robinson's golden Mr. Clean head, just red as that jersey behind you, and just knowing that here we go. Here we go. This is why I brought you here, you little midget. You better get it done right now. And I remember thinking about it like, he's going to set me up. He's going to set me up. We were flying, and of course he has to bury it himself. But no, it was one of those moments when we scored, when I tipped it, but I'll give it to Hendo. When Hendo scored, it was it was a great feeling. That one, I don't believe that we knew we were going to just win. There wasn't a time in that playoffs that I knew we were just going to win. It was the next year where, when we beat Quad City in game 6, when Tetro turned into Terminator, and won us that series. But yeah, that first one was on edge the whole entire time. Like I said, I remember just being emotionally drained and just, we were drinking vodka and orange juice because my body was so drained and I needed something in me. It was pretty amazing, and I'll tell you what, we had some good times in Allen, and I've had some good times in my day, but those championship parties in that locker room in Allen were some of the best. So I won it on the road with Colorado, so it was kind of tough. We were partying on a private jet on the way home, which was pretty cool, but there wasn't enough beer and there was no food. So guys were trying to beat each other's toes off. It was crazy. But, of course, Zimmerman and I had enough beer hidden underneath the Kelly Cup, so we were fine. But the stewardess weren't very happy with us when they found the boxes. But I tell you what, that bartender there, I saw him when I was down with the Houston Wild team, and I gave him a big hug, and I still thank him. Those parties were one of the best, that's for sure.
Throwback Thursday, Darryl Bootland. Couple more questions here for you, and obviously you mentioned your relationship with the fans here in Allen. You were back here last season. Was it last year or maybe the year before? Time goes by so quickly for our alumni game. And I know that was great. I guess it was 2 years ago. It wasn't this year.
Yeah.
That's how quickly, when you get older, it goes even faster. That was special. And just having all guys, all the different players from the different seasons and the special years, having you and Lucan and Justin Bowers and Bruce Graham and a lot of those guys from the early years all together and on the ice in one night was so special. And we've got to do that again. And it was a last-minute surprise that you showed up. How nice was it to be a part of that?
It was amazing. It was so much fun. It was Lucan and I had a special relationship, and Tinkham showed up, and Kevin Cawley, I played with him junior, and we were never together really in Allen, but he was there, so it was. I had Daichi again to see him again, and it's always a blast to see the Ludwigs, but. It just brings back so many memories, and you hear so many good stories of everything that went on when they were there, and the great times. You're not really getting back together to talk about the tough times, so it's a lot of fun, that's for sure, and it's something I'll cherish and never forget. And somebody posted the video. I was doing the Martinston with my jersey off and giving it good, but so it was a blast. Me and Lukey came back from behind and got the team a victory, and I think it cost me some pops at Kelly's, but I got the boys riled up with the must flex off, and the boys turned the game around. It was a big win for Team Lucan and Bootland, even though Lukey didn't do much.
No, he definitely, he never did he? He was just one of those guys that just showed up and just collect. No, Lucan was. Yeah. I think he's the best defensive forward we've ever had.
Oh, remember, he used to fly in on spaceships Monday to Thursday, and then he'd bring his car on the weekend for games.
He is an amazing guy. We'll get him on here for one of these throwbacks. All right. For our fans, just, I guess, last thing, what are you doing now? I know you're coaching, you said, with the kids, but what's your normal job these days?
Well, believe it or not, there's a beautiful hockey player, my boss, who got me into the medical sales world. So I've been training for about 6-7 months here, and my brain hurts every night. But with the old China 19 here going on, I haven't got any sales yet. So I'm selling medical supplies to surgeons, really, is what I'm doing. But it hasn't started up yet. So I was a handyman. I was a golf caddy at Blue Jack National. That's why I grew out the beard back, because they made me shave every day there. But just staying home with these monsters, Tommy. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, look at those pretty girls. How are you doing?
That's Elsa, Loxley, and Haven, and the big boy. He's my savior now. He's taking care of everything for me.
Well, you guys be good to Dad. He needs your help and direction. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. Booter, I'm glad we didn't bring up the how I broke my hand, but
Don't
forever,
Tommy Daniels. I learned the hard way.
he will forever be known as the only person, at least to date, knock on wood, that's put a cast on any part of my body. And it came on my right hand, thanks to Darryl Bootland, who loved to sneak up on you and just scare the daylights out of you.
It was a lot of fun working in that office. I'll tell you that much.
You and Trevor Ludwig were the entertainment of the summer for sure.
It was a blast, Tommy. I appreciate you, buddy. I miss you.
I miss you too, man. Love you, Darryl Bootland. And let's, if we can, let's try to get together this year at some point. I know we're going to play hockey. It might be later than October, but come see us, will you?
I'll be back up there, pal.
There it is. Throwback Thursday, the one and only number 27, the guy with the beard, Darryl Bootland.